Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker, Marcin Niemiec, presenting the topic, Threat Modeling Using LLMs.
Hey, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, great. Happy to have you all here. It's maybe not the full room as it was before, but I see that you are passionate about security and AI. So I hope you will walk out from this talk with something. And yeah, let's start. So my name is Marcin Niemiec, as you already know. I have a blog post and I'm sometimes put something on the X. So if you want to check, go ahead. I'm from the Form 3. We are a real-time payment processing platform, but let's not talk about that right now. Okay, threat modeling. So how many of you know that? How many of you did that? What is your experience with threat modeling? What can I see there? One person, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. That was like, it was really hard to put the hand up in this, I think, development community. Okay, so what I want to give you today is kind of a bit provocative. If you struggle with the threat modeling, yeah, maybe you are as a developer, maybe you don't like this practice, or maybe you are like security person and you also have a lot of them to do and you cannot scale it or something like that. So AI makes threat modeling easy for you. Yeah, let's see, let's find out during that presentation. Okay, let's start with the threat modeling 101 because the most of you don't know this technique, what it is about. So yeah, so the threat modeling is a technique to find security problems before the implementation happened. Yeah, so when you have this pen testing, you get back the list of the vulnerabilities that you need to fix and it's already late and you don't want to fix them, you don't understand them. So you can do something else. You can introduce security at the beginning of the process, not at the end of it, where you have implementation, but only when you have ideas, concepts, design. Yeah, on that picture you can do the threat modeling. So someone called it evil brainstorming. I like that term very much. It's like when you think about threat modeling, sometimes you think it is the heist. Yeah, we are planning the heist on our application. We are not really doing anything specific. And yeah, if you want to refer to the pen testing, it's like pen testing on the paper, because you are not pen testing application that is running, but rather you are just taking the design. Okay, and how we can do it? So I took this picture from the Martin Fowler blog, just because I knew that this is development community and maybe you know Martin Fowler, so I would say if you read something about it, hear something about him, maybe you will want to check that. Okay, where is my mouse? My mouse is here, sadly. Okay, that won't be easy. Is there here a laser or something or not? No, okay, no worries. So I will be looking at it and watching. Okay, so this is very simple threat modeling. So no, not to insult you. Okay, this is normal threat modeling. Yeah, okay. So here, oh, my mouse is crazy. So here's the user. Yeah, and those blocks, they are just some components of the system. For example, like React app in the front end. Then this is dotted line. That's quite interesting one. It's called authorization boundary or the trust boundary. Then we have some backend components, like the server, Node.js. Where is my friend from the Node.js? Is he here on the side? I don't see him. Oh no, he left. Payment service, also Node.js. And then the database, like that. And now we start thinking, okay, let's first put the authorization boundary. So we know that the React app will work in the browser. So basically anyone can do anything in the browser. So we say that this is untrusted. We say, okay, those components are a bit more trusted together, so they are not having any boundary between them because they are on the same level of trust, the same as the database. So on this right side of the picture is the same trust level, and the left side of the picture is the same trust level, but those trust levels are different. That's why those boundary. And then we can think, okay, what bad can happen here. So first, to answer that question, oh, he's my man from the Node.js. I keep it for you. So what are the things that we need to protect? Here's the money, because we have the payment service, so we are processing payments. So the money is here. This is how, not only where we are processing someone else's money, but also where we are making money. And here are all PII data, maybe some credit cards information, and so on. And this is how we going into that. Yeah, this is the same like with home. If we would do thread modeling on the home, we will say, okay, what is important in my home? Yeah, maybe I just share the flat and I have only one room and I have nothing in that room because I'm from the Z generation and then I'm just not about that. Or maybe I'm just, you know, like a senior someone and I'm having like a lot of art or the crowd or something there, so I need to protect that. So I need to know what I want to protect. And then I'm asking myself, okay, what can go wrong? Yeah, what can go wrong here? So on the Martin Fowler blog, they said unencrypted data. That could be a threat, yeah, reasonable. That could be a threat. That could be a threat like the real attacker could get to our server room, bring the disk and grab the disk and go home, yeah? But that could be also a threat like the compliance threat, because we told our customers that we are storing encrypted data, and now we are not storing encrypted data. There could be a DDoS, yeah, that's one of the things. Let's say we have a competitor that is also selling something, and they're saying the same thing, and they go to this hacking dark web forum and they paid for the DDoS attack on our service, especially in the Christmas, where we were wanted to make a lot of money. Yeah, sadly. Oh no, I hope that this is not insulting you when I say this is thread modeling version hard. So this is something that you can get as the reference architecture of the thread modeler for the Azure, and this is like looking really crazy. And to be honest, if you ever try thread model application, it's a very shitty application created by the Microsoft some time ago, but it still stands and some companies still using them. Okay, so yeah, I love thread modeling, and watching paint dry is also fun for me. So okay, so we now know what is this thread modeling. Okay, what are the large language models? Yeah, so how many of you used large language models? Oh, a lot. Yeah, a lot more than the thread modeling. Yeah. Okay, so the LLMs, yeah, sometimes they feel a bit like the magic, but in the end there are parameters. Yeah, and when you train those parameters, you just do optimization of the thing. And why it's so crazy from last 2 years? Because it turned out when we are training them in unsupervised way on the next token, so we are asking them to generate next token and the same doing backpropagation, so training for exactly this token, it turned out that those LLMs can encode meaning of the words, meaning of the tokens. Yeah. So for example, what is the concrete example? The researchers find out that the Germany, Hitler, Italy, and Mussolini, they are connected in the meaningful way in the LLMs. So as the way in the wakes. Yeah. So it's the LLM by the training of the next word find out that we are describing in the internet, in the books, Hitler, Mussolini, German, and Italy in the same way somehow. Yeah, so they're related to each other. That's quite funny. So, and that's why the next picture. Exactly. ChatGPT, LLMs, and this is how looks like our knowledge and know-how. Yeah, that's only it, and that's it. Yeah, let's let's move on. The house is burning. Let's move. Let's run. Okay, so the threat modeling. So if you already, I bet, yeah, I bought you, and when you get back to your companies, you will start doing threat modeling. So I will tell you what ingredients you need to do it manually. So description of the thing. We need to know what we are doing. Maybe we can have architecture of the project. We need developers, because developers know how to create the thing. They know what they created or what would like to create. We need security experts. So yeah, you need me to do threat modeling. And yeah, but what would it be if we would like to do this threat modeling with the LLMs? What then? So we still need description of the thing. We still need developers, because they need to run something and write something. You don't need me anymore, so maybe sad for me, good for you. But instead, you need the prompt, so the question and the LLM to host it. Okay, and so the general idea is very simple. We take our document, you put it to the prompt, and then we get our shiny threat model. Okay? And my friend Daniel Meisler, so you can follow him, because he's putting also some interesting things about the threat modeling. So he said that the AI isn't competing with the Einstein, Tolstoy, and House. AI is competing with the tasks not being done at all. It's being done poorly, inconsistently, slowly, costing too much. So he thinks everything. But when you remember those few people that raised their hands, you know, I think that we are sticking with the task not being done at all. So basically, we are not doing threat modeling. So that could be a good idea for us to use LLM for that, to democratize usage of those techniques and security. Okay, short demo, because yeah, so let me run that. That's from 4GTP GPT-4. So I just wanted to try. I wanted to know if the ChatGPT is really able to do threat modeling or not, because maybe it is not able to do that. Let's see. It is giving us some answer. Of course, yeah, you cannot read that, but it's generating, and it started generating the threat table. So as you see, it is putting something there. Yeah, we'll go to the details. Okay, so what are the results? Let's see those results. So we have like thread ID, component name, thread name, stride category, and the explanation. So I asked the ChatGPT to create a thread model based of the architecture that you don't know what it is, but I will show you in the moment. But that I just wanted to give you the thing that ChatGPT was able to do that. Yeah, we'll go back to the details. Here's some more, but we'll just keep that. So first of all, ChatGPT knows threat modeling. Fact. Okay. ChatGPT can correctly find the components. That's good. That was not easy thing. Can write meaningful threads, but can we get even better than that? Okay, so here is a stride, but I know that you started reading, so you can't. Okay, so let's think only about the first one, because the stride is the technique, but I don't want to bring too much on you. So if you know threat modeling, the stride is technique of doing threat modeling. Is the mnemonic that each letter represents different category of the threads. We need that for certain reason. I will tell you later. So, but I just want you to grasp it. Like the first S letter is from the spoofing, and what is important for us is that when we talk about the spoofing, we have like things like authentication. Yeah, so like MFA, OAuth, OpenID, JWT, and so on. So we want to check if the party is authentic here. Okay, stride per component. No, I will skip that for you. Okay, so what ingredients do we have? Okay, as before, we will starting with the description of the thing. Yeah, and then we'll put other ingredients. Description of the thing. Do you know what kind of diagram is that? Who knows what kind of diagram is that? Anything? And anyone was creating design diagrams, architecture diagrams in his life, and the name container tells something here? Those are C4 type diagrams. This is the container type diagram from the C4 methodology. And let's check that. Where is my mouse? Okay. Oh no. Go back. Okay. Okay. So the first thing at the left, you see that. So this is the meal planner. The meal planner is said that this is external. External what? External system. External system. The meal planner is like the external system used by dietitians. So dietitians are the people that are preparing diet. If you need diet, if you want to get fit, or maybe you have some health problems, you go to them, and then they are preparing you the diet. But they are not doing that on the paper anymore, but they are putting it on the program that is calculating all the stuff. And my idea is that we will have a company that will have a product. Product is named AI Nutrition Pro. This is the SaaS product that will work with those meal planner applications, and it will provide some AI capabilities. Yeah, so that the diet is a bit more AI something. Yeah, to just get more clients for it. So what we see here is that from this meal planner application, we are calling the API gateway, and then from this API gateway we are calling API application, and the API application is calling API database. Yeah, so this is the main flow, and also API application is calling ChatGPT. And also there is a second flow with the control plane, because yeah, we need to somehow administrate this whole thing. So in nutshell, this is it. So this is how it's working. So it's very simple. Few components. I added some description here, like the Golang, AWS Elastic Container Services, what it is doing, and so on, just to have more information that the AI will, because AI will be consuming that, so it will have more to consume. And what is interesting, I coded it in the Mermind. So I coded in the Mermind, as you see, C4 container, and those are all those items. And the LLM, ChatGPT, and the GPT from the API knows very well the Mermind and those diagrams, so it can understand it. And I added something about the security. Yeah, because when we are preparing the design document, if you feel that you earn the budget of the architect in your company, you know that you need to pay attention to the non-functional requirements. So this is one of it. And I just want for you to remember this first one. Yeah, so what it is like authentication with the meal planner applications. Each has individual API key. So on the one hand, I think I could have a better sentence here, because this sentence feels like English from the primary school, but still it's working. And remember that, so the meal planner applications will be authentication using API key. The simplest possible. So maybe more possibles, like there will be no authentication at all, but yeah, we are doing, this is talk about security. So pay attention to that. Okay, that's, and short sidetrack. So no more excuses for no writing documentation. I know that you may have this book on your bookshelf, but you should say, instead you should have those two books. Yeah, so why? The first book, if you think, oh, that's boring shit, then you have this first book. Yeah, so there is like 100 pages why to write documentation, why that's important, and this is really good. And then you have the second part, which is saying how to do that with those C4 diagrams. So based on your raised hands, I think that you should definitely read one of those two books. Oh, better both. Okay, so we have description of the thing. You will read those 2 books. We have developer, at least one. We need this one developer to write that. And now let's go to the prompt. So let's go to the meat that you were waiting for. Oh, you are vegan, then not meat. Yeah, this is what we are starting. We'll be Inquisitor. Okay, so there are these key components of the prompt. So this is also, if you are interested in the prompting, I think you should pay attention here to those slides. If you were on the previous presentation, the guy was talking about warming up the ChatGPT or warming up LLM. So this is the same idea. Yeah, so this is kind of the same idea here. I'm setting up persona. I don't know if that's effective or not, but I'm still using it. I'm doing step-by-step thinking. That's doing the stuff. This is enforcing. This is somehow they find out that this is enforcing logical reasoning on the LLM. So asking for the step-by-step thinking. Then I will be using this threat modeling with stride per component. So very security term, very interesting thing. But what is the important part here? That this is well-defined technique. So this technique is well-defined. It's not perfect, but it is at least well-defined, and it can tackle major security problems. That's why I'm using it. Okay, next components. Threat explanation. This is this warming up. So I'm asking LLM to explain me why this threat is important for the component in context of architecture description. If we will be doing threat modeling session, if you will be doing threat modeling session with me, and you will ask me why I think this threat is important for the component, I will do the bad look on you and saying you are talking to me that I don't know why this component, why this threat is important. Come on, but we need to ask the LLM. And also let's say my beloved children of my mind explain if this threat is already mitigated in the architecture description or not. So those 2 things are really warming up and is really squeezing and pushing LLM into the right direction. Yeah, so we are not only asking, okay, give me the threats. No, we are trying to push it for this explanation. If you want to know why it's important, you can ask me afterwards, because we will not have that much time for it. Oh yeah, and this is the 0-shot prompt if you are thinking about it. So I'm not providing any good example of the work to the AI. First thing, why when I started that, the context length was very limited, so I couldn't provide any good evidence for the AI because I would just have no space for my prompt and my data. And later on, I just realized, yeah, that's good enough without even any additional examples. Okay, so what you can do here, what you can use. So you can use ChatGPT, as I showed you, but that's kind of not consistent. It's easy for the experimenting, but the most important thing is to put your threat models where is your documentation. Yeah, this is what you would like to do. You don't want to, or maybe if you are in the big enterprise, you have already like 10 or 20 systems where you do different stuff, so maybe one more will not kill you. But in case of the startups, we want to have everything in the one place. So if we are having the code in the GitHub, if we are having documentation in the GitHub, we want to have our threat models in the GitHub and not somewhere else in the Confluence. And yeah, so days before AI and days after AI. So a lot of debugging, very list of coding. If you are suffer from that, because maybe you already started developing something, you can chat with me afterwards. I can tell you about the Langsmith and the LangChain library. The Langsmith is the tool. I can tell you a bit how it can help. Okay, so I wrote this AI threat modeling action that I published for 15 minutes. Okay, I will be wrapping up. So I wrote this action, so you can go to the GitHub. So the whole slides and everything will be shared, so don't worry about it. You will get an email from the organizers with the link to the Dropbox where are all the slides and everything. So we don't need to do anything about that. This is an experimental project. What you can use it on your own GitHub repository. You can fork it, tune it, prompt for your need. It is free license, you don't need to do anything. And you can also use it with the Python scripts that are underneath. Yeah, it looks like that it takes the input documents, then it is running, and it can push to the branch, and can create the pull request, and most interesting for me, it can comment on the issue even. So if you are having your issues about, let's say, something, then it can comment with the thread model on that issue. The features, there is high-level security and privacy requirements. So this is the prompt, basically. This thread modeling of the architecture, security acceptance criteria for the user story. This is something I'm, let's say, maybe looking the most interesting for the future. And review of architecture the description. But let's focus on the thread modeling. So how to use it? Yeah, very quickly, just to enjoy this relative run here with the code. So we are checking up the we are checking out the repo, then we are configuring it. As you see, we can, because we are using API, we can pick up the temperature. If you don't know what is the temperature in the LLMs, this is kind of the thing that if higher temperature makes the output more random, and the lower less random. Yeah. And you can pick up different models from the OpenAI and the OpenRouter, and then you can commit it to the some branch. Okay, and finally, the masterpiece. Yeah, the example that you all waited. So if that's really satisfying you, yeah. So at the end, I will show that, and I will ask you to raise hand who is satisfied with the output, and who is not. Then not matter. Okay, so first of all, we see here that there are some data flow. Data flow 1, meal planner application to API gateway. So I ask it to identify the data flows. Yeah, because there are different data flows, so I ask for it. And it did it correctly. Yeah, it can count numbers. Component name, that's correct. API gateway. Thread name. Spoofing attack by using stolen or guessed API keys. You remember that I told you about those API keys. Yeah, so you see right now that it read that we are using those API keys, and it is saying that someone can stole it or guessed. Okay, that seems reasonable. Strike category spoofing. Yeah, we need that because this is this technique that we are using. Explanation. An attacker could use stolen or guessed API key to impersonate a legitimate meal planner application, gaining unauthorized access to the API gateway. I think that's pretty cool. Explanation. Yeah, I would be proud if I would write something like that myself on the threat model. How the threat is already mitigated in the architecture. So let's check if there is a logic reasoning here. Partially mitigated by individual API keys for authentication as stated in architecture description. Wow. Yeah, that's good. Mitigations. Implement multi-factor authentication, regularly rotate API keys and monitor for unusual activity. Quite good. And then the risk severity high. Okay, who is satisfied with this output? Okay, I bought few people. Then my work is done here. I was, with this kind of technical presentations, you only want to have like this one person that is really paying attention. I saw that there are these few, so I really enjoy that. If you are not satisfied because you think that that's shit, you can come to me after the meeting and you can tell me why, and maybe I will do something better. I want to show you one particular thing, maybe focus a bit on this risk severity. So the risk severity in the high level, it says how urgent the problem is, how urgent we need to fix that problem. And it only gives us one word, high. Why? We don't know. Why? Because we didn't ask for the explanation. We didn't ask for the reasons. And if we would not add those additional columns with the explanation and how threat is mitigated and the mitigations, it will do the same thing to the threat name. So it would give us a threat, but without any explanation. And that would make it worse. The performance, the overall performance of the quality of the threads will be worse because we didn't ask for the explanation. So it would just made up it. Yeah. So it would give us anything. And the same happened here. So we could try to make this more, let's say, with the logic reasoning, and we can push LLM more, asking why this is high. Yeah. So how do you think about the probability of the exposure? How do you think about severity of the exposure here, so that you are thinking that this is high? Yeah. So remember about that pushing LLM for logical reasoning. Okay. So now you are sitting here and you are thinking, if I will lose my job, yeah, and then what? Yeah. So I think that if you can grade those results, yeah, the developer, average developer, no one is average developer, everyone are like exceptional, I know, but there are some average developer. There is like security champion, so this is like a person that was trained in the security but still doing the development. And there is like security experts, so like me, like, yeah, you know, kind of stuff. And then there is this LLM that I presented you. So I think that this is on the level of the security champion. Yeah, so it's not like bad or anything. It's not like exceptionally good. Maybe it's not like for the banking or the military, but it is still better, as you have seen, that you are not doing threat modeling, which is a very simple technique, and the LLM will democratize this technique and other techniques, other things. Yeah, so you will not need to wait for the security expert to do something, but you could run it by yourself on maybe on your feature, on the whole architecture, on anything. Yeah, so this is to remember that this is a tool that you can use. Okay, and the summary, just to wrap up. So LLMs can perform threat modeling and the logic reasoning. Good description is the key of the useful results. Yeah, the same as you know, being a good husband is good for your marriage, and kind of stuff. GPT-4 and Cloudy 3 perform well in the threat modeling, and GitHub Action give us easy way to understand existing documents with AI featured flows. Okay, and if you are not, if you want to get even more knowledge, I just leave those links. Of course, you cannot see those links, but when you will get the Dropbox version, you would be able to click them and check my experiments. There are also other people working in the same space, like Matthew Adam. He's also doing kind of things with the Stride and GPT, so you can look on his work. Clint Glieber created like summary of the current state of cybersecurity and AI, and there are some few of my blog posts. The one about reviewing your architecture using LLMs, that could be interesting for you as the developers, because maybe you would like to, you know, this is what even I did. Yeah, I wrote the architecture and I asked myself, is it good, is it bad? 5 minutes, okay. But then I asked LLM, yeah, what do you think about this architecture? Is it something missing? Could I add something there? Or that's the good way of using it on your design documents, by the way. If they are not leaking, of course they are leaking. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. I hope I bought at least few people to try it. And yeah, the questions. Okay. To do the threat modeling with LLM, it requires to prompt business-sensitive data, basically leading info to the third party. Are you sure? LLM can change security experts. So right now, if you will of course, if you will take any business data, any business sensitive data, and you will send it to the OpenAI, Cloudy, Gemini, anywhere, you are at the risk. Yeah, of course, because they are storing it, processing it, and we don't really know how and why. They are promising something that they will be not learning with that, but that may be true, that may be not true. This is like, we are like, and so the early adopters will go there. Yeah, your company is not like you are making that decision. Your company is making that decision. Is it like your company need to take two things? If our documents will be leaked, is it worse than not using AI? Yeah, so they need to have those things. You shouldn't take that decision. Your company should make that decision. Yeah. Okay. How could you compare threat modeling with LLMs to pay tools like Threat Modeler? Threat modeler, yeah, so basically I was typically not using paid tools to do threat modeling, because I think that the threat modeling is the team or developers time with the security. Yeah, so that we can have some kind of the relationship, we can talk with each other, we can know what the development are doing, and we can help that, we can accelerate that with that kind of discussion. And I'm lucky person, because I'm working in the financial company, and we are having like the big team of the security. So we don't need to think, okay, we don't have enough talents, we don't have enough time, because we have that. And that's why we are lucky. But for many companies, there is like one security person for the 100 developers. Yeah, so that's hard, and then you need to do something. I didn't personally use the threat modeler, if that's paid tool, or maybe do you think about the Microsoft threat modeler, or just threat modeler, some tool? Who wrote that? Okay, no one. Okay, so the Microsoft threat modeler, if you remind, that tool will give you exactly the same result as the LLM. Exactly the same, almost exactly the same. Why? Because it is based on the rules. But what is the difference? The difference is that it will give you a result that is more high level. It will give you a result in the way that we saw from the ChatGPT at the beginning, without any logical reasoning, any additional context. It will give you the same. Yeah, that's kind of stuff. But with the LLM, you don't need to use different tool. Yeah, you don't need to put your diagram in the different tool, do all those stuff. You can use like the GitHub Mermind, or even you can use some image to Mermind, for example, stuff like that. LLM that will transfer your image from your, I don't know, diagram to the Mermind. So yeah, with LLM you can use threat modeling in the place where you are doing your documentation, so you don't need to use any other tool. Okay, anything from the audience? Okay, so thank you very much.